And you will know my name is the Lord.
I am God.
Damn you all.
All right, here we are again. Welcome one, welcome all to the one, the only Junk Shop Library channel, home of improv Bible study, where over the course of the past frighteningly close to 3 years, we have read our way almost all the way through the Old Testament in the King James authorized version of 1611, verse by verse, blow by blow, smite by smite, and yard by yard. This has been an interesting little project, and there's more interesting yet to come. Before I do anything else, I should make it wildly clear that this is not a family-friendly channel due to the swearing and the subject matter. I don't even remember how to start these fucking streams anymore. Special thank you right out of the gate to my wonderful and enormously patient patrons over at patreon.com/JunkshopLibrary, whose names I would have crawling at the bottom of the screen right now had there not been some reshuffling over at Patreon, and I realized just before we went live that my ticker was out of date, and some folks would not have been called out for their thanked for their support, who should have been. And I used my horribly outdated crawler because it's been a month since we did one of these streams. In fact, it was a month ago today, and I did not realize that. It is November the 26th, the year of our Lord 2022. Advent begins tomorrow. Brace yourselves. Quick hello to everybody in the chat. Old friends of the channel, One Ring 42. Good to see you. Nevermore here, despite, perhaps because of, injury. And the one and only Doc Fearsome. Greetings and salutations all. Wonderful to see you. All right, so when last we congregated, we read the first 3 chapters of the book of the prophet Zechariah, who was tripping. It's the only possible explanation for the ridiculousness and the nonsense that we read out last time. Googly eyes, horse messengers, yardsticks, and all that we have come to expect of the Old Testament and the minor prophets in particular, with a guest appearance by none other than Satan himself in a non-speaking role. Geo Sam in the chat. Good to see you as ever. All right, so for anyone watching this who's unfamiliar with the shtick, we read it chapter by chapter and then we discuss. There's this common fantasy among particularly the harder core evangelical fragments of Christianity that atheists do not and or have not read and or read the Bible. Here, proving them wrong 3 years in. the amount of time it takes them to get through the Revised Common Lectionary, with the difference being that we're actually reading the whole damn thing. The Revised Common Lectionary lies. And I think I did that bit last time or possibly the time before and won't rehash it again in detail. So, we turn us now to the 4th chapter of the book of the prophet Zechariah. Zechariah is having a lengthy vision, and the Lord is talking with him through a series of angels and sometimes showing up himself. Let's see what bullshit we get into now. And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, What are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto it. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands also shall finish it. And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you. For who hath despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice, and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth. Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then said he, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. And there we have Zechariah 4. That wasn't any fun. It's just coffee. Now, last time we had Satan and angels and rocks with eyes and horses and trees and horses amongst the trees, or was it the man amongst the trees? There was something with trees, myrtle trees. This time we've got another lamp. Another lamp. Goody, goody gumdrops. Another lamp to symbolize. Why write something new when you can trot out an old chestnut? So, a candlestick with a bowl on top, 7 lamps and 7 pipes, and olive trees, one either side, with branches running into the candlestick that drain out the golden oil of him. And yet more sucking up to King Zerubbabel, who is apparently quite the badass and is going to erect a headstone to mark the grave of a mountain he's going to make flat. So that is Angie Dell with some of the best Halloween decorations in the history of yard Halloween decorations, and one of the oldest friends of the channel. Good to see you as ever. So I think if there's one thing we can take away from this chapter, this very short chapter, it's that this particular angel don't listen too good. He says, look at this thingamabopolis. And the prophet looks. And the angel says, do you know what these are? And the man says, no. And the angel says, you don't know what these are? And the man says, no. So then he explains. This happens like 3 times in the course of like a 10-verse chapter. I want to tell Zechariah to tell the angel, look, if I knew what they were, would I be asking you twice? Not once, but twice. So, another fancy lamp that symbolizes the glory of the King of Israel and 2 anointed ones symbolized by olive trees, appropriately enough. I mean, let's be real, credit where credit is due. The olive oil being the anointing way that you make kings special is by splooshing some extra verge on their heads. And apparently there's 2. I'm drawing a blank. Is Zechariah, was this one taking place back during the days of the divided kingdom? Because that would make sense if you had one for Israel, one for Judah. I did do my not for families bit at the beginning, didn't I? Not for families. Because the book sure ain't. Okay. So I guess we got to keep reading to find out who these 2 anointed ones are. Though I was kind of hoping for an explanation of the 7 googly eyes and the graving upon the rock from the last chapter in this chapter, and there wasn't, so don't hold your breath. So, chapter 5, Zechariah. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side, according to it. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side, according to it. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts. And it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Then the angel that talked with me went forth, and said unto me, lift up now thine eyes, and see what is this that goeth forth. And I said, what is it? And he said, this is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. And he said, this is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. Then lifted I up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, And the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. And there we have chapter 5. Okay, so an ephah is a unit of measure. It's, hang on. Courtesy of the Lone Wanderer's Bunker, we have source material. Contrite, destitute, discharge, heir, epistle, ephah, a Hebrew measure of 3 pecks and 3 pints. Or according to others, of 7 gallons and 4 pints, or about 15 solid inches. So a poorly defined Bronze Age unit of measure that doesn't convert into modern units, conveniently at the very least. Post-return from Babylon. Okay, thanks, Ring. Ring's got me with the research. Post-return from Babylon? And 2 anointed ones. Ooh, we got trouble right here in Judah City with a capital T, which rhymes with E, which stands for ephod. Ephah. Ephah, unit of measure. Ephod, fancy apron. Okay. Okay, so first of all, he looks up and he sees a roll in the air. Not like a munchy roll, but like a rolled up something roll. And he's able to divine somehow, just from glimpsing it in the sky, that it's exactly twice as long as it is wide. It's a 1 to 2 rectangle. Or given my last phrasing, a 2 to 1 rectangle. Anyway. And so they do the dance. Do you know what it is? What do you see? I don't know what it is. Why don't you tell me? Okay, well, here's what you see. It's a curse upon thieves and blasphemers. Specifically. And it's going to go into their houses and arson them to death. Them thieves and blasphemers. Tut, tut. And then we move on. A talent is another unit of measure, probably similarly helpfully defined through conversion. But let's see. What is a talent? Oblation, petition, replenish, sheath, taunt, tattler, tarry, tale bearer, talent. 1, a weight and a coin. 2, a gold coin, the same with a shekel of gold, also called stater, and weighing only 4 drachmas. 3, the talent of silver, called sikar, was equivalent to 3,000 shekels, or 113 pounds, 10 ounces, and a fraction in troy weight. So it's a weight of solid materials, particularly metals or minerals, I guess. Purple! Hey, good to see you. Okay, so there's an ephah of something. Doesn't say what. And a talent of lead, which is a woman sitting in the midst of the ephah that is wickedness. And then he cast the weight of lead. Okay, so the woman is wickedness because it's the Bible. And he seals her into the ephah with the lead. And then we move on. Now there are two women with stork wings. And they take the ephah and they lift it up. And he says, where are the stork women taking the ephah with the lead wickedness woman inside? And he says, we're going to build it an house in the land of Shinar. Like you do. The Lavender Lady. Wonderful to see you, as always. So, okay, so the lead woman of wickedness is sealed in the ephah of semblance by the angel of the Lord and is carried by stork women to Shinar, which is, if memory serves, a plain in the province of Babylon, to park it there in an house. So, if Zechariah is post-Babylonian exile, then they're back in Judea, and this is a vision of the removal of wickedness from the people of Israel, the sealing it inside a unit of measure, so quantifying it, and sending it airmail, or in this case, I guess, stork lady mail, back to Babylon and leaving it there. So no more wickedness in the land of Israel. We will sit here under vine and fig tree while the swearers and the thieves burn alive in their houses, and we will call each other neighbor in the land of the rocks with 7 goofy eyes. And writing on, lest we forget, he graved the graving thereof on the googly-eyed rock. What did it say? We don't know. He didn't say. We'll never know. Or we might, because there's more chapters of Zechariah. What is this book? I am confused and annoyed. At least the chapters are short. So, we've exiled the wickedness woman back to Babylon. Chapter 6. And I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. In the first chariot were red horses, and in the second chariot black horses, and in the third chariot white horses, and in the fourth chariot grizzled and bay horses. And I answered and said unto the angel that talked with me, What are these, my lord? And the angel answered and said unto me, These are the 4 spirits of the heavens, which go forth from standing before the Lord of all the earth. The black horses, which are therein, go forth into the north country, and the white go forth after them. And the grizzled go forth toward the south country. And the bay went forth and sought to go, that they might walk to and fro through the earth. And he said, Get you hence, walk to and fro through the earth. So they walked to and fro through the earth. Then cried he upon me, and spake unto me, saying, Behold, these that go toward the north country have quieted my spirit in the north country. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Take of them of the captivity, even of Heldai, of Tobijah, and of Jediah, which are come from Babylon, and come thou the same day, and go into the house of Josiah the son of Zephaniah. Then take silver and gold and make crowns, and set them upon the head of Joshua the son of Josedech the high priest, and speak unto him, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, Behold the man whose name is the branch. And he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of the Lord. Even he shall build the temple of the Lord, and he shall bear the glory, and shall sit and rule upon his throne, and he shall be a priest upon his throne, and the counsel of peace shall be between them both. And the crowds shall be to Helem, and to Tobijah, and to Jedaiah, and to Hen the son of Zephaniah, for a memorial in the temple of the Lord. And they that are far off shall come and build in the temple of the Lord, and ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you. And this shall come to pass, if ye will diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God. More horse messengers. Just what this book needs. More horse messengers. Okay, so it's Julie, Wine, and Reason. Good to see you. Okay, so 2 mountains of brass, 4 chariots. Red horses, black horses, white horses, grizzled and bay horses. And the black and the white horses go north. The grizzled horses go south. The bay just wander around. And the red horses don't do anything. We are the horses that don't do anything. We just stay at home and lie around. Okay. And we finally get some clarification from back in chapter 3, but not of the googly eyes or the fancy hat, but of the branch in all caps. So we finally have the identity of the branch, who was last mentioned in an instruction to Joshua the high priest in chapter 3. God said, I will bring forth my servant the branch. Well, come to find out, 3 episodes later, the branch, capital T, all uppercase branch, the branch, the mold, the branch is Joshua, the son of Josedech, the high priest. And while the bay horses are wandering around back and forth, and the red horses are sitting around with their thumbs up their butts, they gather some folks who were in exile in Babylon, and they make crowns. They make crowns, plural, out of silver and gold, and put them on Joshua's head. And then they give crowns to Helem, Tobijah, Jedaiah, and Hen. And the instruction is given that Joshua is going to rebuild the temple and rule over it, despite the explicit instruction in the last chapter that that was to be the task of Zerubbabel. Oh, yes, and the 2 mountains of brass are God I don't know, the horses go out from them into all the earth and are said to go out from the Lord. So God is the two mountains of brass, not the regular old mountain that Zerubbabel is going to make flat and put a headstone up for, but two mountains, brass mountains. Still no word what the red horses are doing. And still wondering about this chariot being pulled by the grizzled and the bay horses who split up. And the grizzled ones go south, and the bay want to go wandering. And God stops them and says, go away and wander. And so they do. This book is not good. We've had some crappy prophets along the way. This one is just running around making shit up for the sake of it, and recounting his dreams kind of piecemeal like a toddler at Thanksgiving dinner, and throwing in a "Thus saith the Lord" every once in a while just for the devil of it. Because this is some incoherent rubbish nonsense. This is just batshittery for the sake of it, and he just keeps coming up with, he keeps recycling other people's poetic devices and prophecies and interpreting them in entirely different ways or setting them up weird. There was another young man with a measuring device, which was from back in, I want to say, Ezekiel or Jeremiah, and yet he does it entirely differently, and the guy didn't end up measuring anything. That was like back in chapter 2 or some shit. I said this last month, this book, this Zechariah, is both too much and not enough of everything simultaneous. And I have no idea what's going on, and I'm worried about the red horses. Chapter 7. Pause for coffee. Zechariah 7. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Darius that the word of the Lord came unto Zechariah in the 4th day of the 9th month, even in Chislew, when they had sent unto the house of God Sherezzar and Regemelech and their men to pray before the Lord, and to speak unto the priests which were in the house of the Lord of hosts, and to the prophets, saying, should I weep in the 5th month, separating myself, as I have done these so many years? Then came the word of the Lord of hosts unto me, saying, speak unto all the people of Israel, and to the priests, saying, when ye fasted and mourned in the 5th and 7th month, even those 70 years, did ye at all fast unto me, even to me? And when ye did eat, and when ye did drink, did ye not eat for yourselves, and drink for yourselves? Should ye not hear the words which the Lord hath cried by the former prophets, when Jerusalem was inhabited and in prosperity, and the cities thereof round about her, when men inhabited the south and the plain? And the word of the Lord came unto Zechariah, saying, thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and shew mercy and compassions, every man to his brother. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. But they refused to hearken, and pulled away the shoulder, and stopped their ears, that they should not hear. Yea, They made their hearts as an adamant stone, lest they should hear the law. And the words which the Lord of hosts hath sent in his spirit by the former prophets. Therefore came a great wrath from the Lord of hosts. Therefore it is come to pass that as he cried, and they would not hear, so they cried, and I would not hear, saith the Lord of hosts. But I scattered them with a whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land desolate. And there we have Zechariah 7. God being his petty little bitch self yet again. So, leaders of Israel send emissaries to the priests in the temple, or what's left of it, saying, do we still got to do those fasting holidays? And God grabs Zechariah by the scruff of the neck and says, get your bitch ass down there and tell them no. They don't have to fast anymore, because we all know they were just doing it for themselves and not because I told them to. They wanted to fast and eat and didn't pay me no never mind while they were doing either one. So you know what? I'm going to give them the silent treatment. I'm going to send them to Coventry. They are dead to me. They are canceled. I'm not helping them no more. They can eat or fast or be damned for all of me. I don't care no more. My feelings is hurt. Here I got horses running around hither and thither and mountains being laid flat so that headstones can be put up and Satan popping up to say nothing. And here I am stripping high priests naked and giving them fancy hats and crowns and putting googly eyes on rocks on the ground and writing on and all other damn thing, and they don't listen, so they can suck it. For I am the Lord, gracious and abounding in steadfast love, unless you hurt my fifis, and then I get cranky. Presumably, that's what Zechariah tells them. It doesn't say that. It says God told him to, but it ain't say that. They wouldn't listen to the former prophets. God says so to Zechariah. God says, hey, new prophet, go tell the people who wouldn't listen to the old prophets that they can do what they want because they're going to do it anyway, and God doesn't care anymore. Not God's going to smite them, not God's going to wreak havoc and famine in the land, not God's going to exile you to some foreign empire again. Just God says, you do you. I don't care. See if I care. I'm going to go back to my Ann house. Oh, wait, you ain't built it for me yet. I've been drumming my fingers through the entire reign of Zerubbabel. Ain't got me no house. No pomegranates, no curtains, no ephods, no basins on backs of brass bulls, no nothing. I'm gonna pout like a god. I'm going to show you who's the superior being. I'm going to sit my superior ass over here and pout like a big boy till I get my way. Thus saith the Lord. Listen to me. Don't listen to me. See how you like it. I'm not listening. I ain't studying you. Huh. Chapter 8. Again the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith the Lord, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, saith the Lord of hosts? Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Let your hands be strong, ye that hear in these days these words by the mouth of the prophets, which were in the day that the foundation of the house of the Lord of hosts was laid, that the temple might be built. For before these days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast, neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in, because of the affliction. For I set all men every one against his neighbor. But now I will not be unto the residue of this people as in the former days, saith the Lord of hosts. For the seed shall be prosperous, the vine shall give her fruit, the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their dew, and I will cause the remnant of this people to possess all these things. And it shall come to pass that, as ye were a curse among the heathen, O house of Judah, and house of Israel, so will I save you, and ye shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, as I thought to punish you when your fathers provoked me to wrath, saith the Lord of hosts, and I repented not, so again have I thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Fear ye not. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye, every man, the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord. And the word of the Lord of hosts came unto me, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the fast of the 4th month, and the fast of the 5th, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th, shall be to the house of Judah joy and gladness and cheerful feasts. Therefore love the truth and peace. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that there shall come people, and the inhabitants of many cities, and the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, Let us go speedily to pray before the Lord, and to seek the Lord of hosts. I will go also. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem, and to pray before the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass, that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. Chapter 8. All right, so some of you may remember, if you've been with the channel a while, that long ago, clear back in the very last chapter, when God said he didn't care about the fasting and the feasting anymore, and he wasn't going to deal with Jerusalem anymore, and wasn't going to have anything to do with the children of Israel, and then a paragraph break later, done changed his mind. There's this weird thing in certain denominations and sects of Christianity, this sort of pervasive idea, completely unsupported by the foundational text, that God is unchanging. That God made up his mind at the foundations of the world and has never changed his mind about jack. Then these people have the absolute goddamn effrontery to look at people like me and say, you don't know your Bible. Like, yo, God changed his mind all the damn time. God haggled with Abraham about how many righteous people should be counted for the sparing of Sodom. God changed his mind about what people should be called. God changed his mind about the location of the capital. God changed his mind about whether certain people would live or die, be blessed or be cursed. Now, in the space of a chapter, God changed his mind about whether or not he was going to be the God of the children of Israel. God doesn't change his mind. Come on. Come on. Crack a book. Okay. So he's going to reunite the diaspora for the 8 squillionth time in the Minor Prophets alone. Park everybody back in Jerusalem. People are going to have jobs again. Stuff's going to grow again. We're going to have rain, or at least dew, again. And also, those very important fasting months, 4, 5, 7, and 10, he's decided to recast as feasty months. God doesn't change his mind. He just goddamn did. It's in the book. Read it. Read it and weep. And make your hands strong, so that you may build me an house. We have spent more time building God an replacement house after he gets all pissy and butthurt and has some rampaging horde come in and tear it down. This has happened like 6 times. It's only like 500 years of history. Like every generation and a half. They have to build him an house again because he got all ranty and rampagey and knocked the last one down like a kid mad at his Legos. And we end out chapter 8 with yet another change. Instead of convert them all by the sword, which has kind of been the bit the whole time, you know, slaughter the unbeliever and bring the remnants into the fold of the one true faith of the Most High God. Now, he's prophesying a time when everybody's going to be so convinced of the presence of Yahweh in the land of Israel that people are going to come running from all the corners of the earth. Fair point. Lincoln Logs would have been a much better turn of phrase. And everybody's gonna wanna be Yahwists. God never changes. Give me a break. All right. Chapter 9. I know I'm kind of plowing through this pretty fast, but A, there's not a lot going on. And B, I'm going to try to, 50 minutes. We're not going to make it through the rest of Zechariah today. All right, well, it was worth a shot. Okay, but chapter 9. The burden of the word of the Lord in the hand of Hadrach, and Damascus shall be the rest thereof, when the eyes of man, as of all the tribes of Israel, shall be toward the Lord. And Hamath also shall border thereby, Tyrus and Zidon, though it be very wise. And Tyrus did build herself a stronghold, and heaped up silver as the dust, and fine gold as the mire of the streets. Behold, the Lord will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea, and she shall be devoured with fire. Ashkelon shall see it, and fear. Gaza also shall see it, and be very sorrowful. And Ekron, for her expectation, shall be ashamed, and the king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. And I will take away his blood out of his mouth, and his abominations from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he, shall be for our God, and he shall be as a governor in Judah, and Ekron as a Jebusite. And I will encamp about mine house because of the army, because of him that passeth by, and because of him that returneth. And no oppressor shall pass through them any more, for now have I seen with mine eyes. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. And I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto the heathen, and his dominion shall be from sea even to sea, and from the river even to the ends of the earth. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. When I have bent Judah when I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man, and the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and the Lord God shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. The Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. And the Lord their God shall save them in that day as the flock of his people, for they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land. For how great is his goodness, and how great is his beauty! Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maids. New villain just dropped. The Greeks. Into the age of Helen. Okay, so some smiting. The old standbys: Tyre, Sidon, Ashkelon, Gaza, Ekron. A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Yeah, I'm sure that's never happened before. Not a people of bastards, not a race of bastards, not a population of godless heathens who do not observe the sanctity of marriage rites. One. Singular. Bastard. In Ashdod. Just chilling with his bastardly self. Zechariah is smoking something. Okay. Free associating. I will take his blood out of his mouth. That could be good thing or a bad thing. And his abominations from between his teeth. You know, it's the worst feeling. You know, you just been sitting there minding your own business, having yourself a little snack of sin, and you get an abomination just kind of stuck. It's usually like right between the canine and the premolar. It just lodges right up by the gum line. You can't get out. God's going to take care of that pesky abomination. Get it out your teeth. Might take your popcorn kernel while he's at it. You never know. He is a just and merciful Lord. Pew! That abomination out of here. And he's going to protect his house. Apparently, he's gotten tired of getting to have himself a new house built every time. So now he's going to actually start protecting it like a big boy. Everybody, hail and rejoice! The king is arriving on a donkey. And a baby donkey. Okay, quick digression. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we're going to get into it in Matthew. But Palm Sunday, Jesus rides into Jerusalem. Depending on which gospel you are reading, whether it's Matthew or I think the other one is in John. Either Jesus has a prophetic vision or a psychic event or something, tells his disciples to go talk to the guy and take his donkey, or he has previously made arrangements for donkeys to be ready for him when he comes to town on Passover. Anyway, there's rigmarole and apologetics. We'll get into it again once we hit the Passion narrative, which at the current rate will probably be around 2027. There's an issue of translation when you deal with Hebrew poetry. And we talked about this back in the wisdom literature, you know, when you say things like, you know, I shall drink wine, I shall drink the red wine, I shall drink the red cruvy, never gonna stop. You're not saying that you're going to drink like more than one red cruvy. You're just going to keep on drinking the red cruvy. Okay. It's like that time when Saul got all butthurt over Saul has killed his thousands, David his tens of thousands. Well, it's not saying David killed 10 times as many Philistines as you, Saul. In Hebrew poetry, you expand in the second line on the first line. And you got to come into the first verse. This is not about you. This is not a judgment on your Philistine slaying skills, you big, dumb, stupid. Did you nap through all of poetry class? Okay, so all of which is to say, the word "and" in that Colton Foal business, that's what trips us up. Because it shouldn't be there. It's an interpolation, not a translation. When a phrase like this occurs in Hebrew poetry, it's not saying he shall come riding upon an ass and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. He's saying he's coming in on a baby donkey. Okay, riding on it's like cladistics. Okay, riding on an ass. All asses of all ages are ass, and he is riding on a colt, the foal of an ass, which also is ass, but more specifically an age group of ass. It's not that he's riding in with his feet up on the baby donkey, or that he's doing some kind of weird, rodeo trick where he's got one foot on one on the other. No, it's just he's on a very young donkey. Okay, so here comes the king. Here come the judge. God's going to release all the prisoners again, and he's going to take the children of Israel to war with Greece. Especially at this point in history, I would recommend against that. It's not like taking on the Persian Empire, but all the mighty men of this one crappy town in the middle of the burning-ass desert against Greece writ large? No, this is not a good idea. Especially given the fact that you would be attacking, islands as a non-seafaring people. You were expected to use your brain. All right. And the Lord, arrows as lightning, trumpets, slings, everybody's going to be happy. And then we're going to gender the alcohol. The men are going to drink spirits and the ladies wine. New wine. In the book. Okay. Zechariah chapter 9, verse 17. For how great is his goodness and how great is his beauty. Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maids. So your young folks are going to get wasted and happy about it. The women on the fruit of the vine. The men on hard liquor. The non-binary folks are going to have a little assignation with a certain chartreuse fairy. The word of God for the people of God, thanks be to God. Just more minor prophet shit. just more of the same. When the kingdom's doing well, it's be not proud. Sooner or later, God will cut you down. When things are shit, it's don't worry. God's gonna make it up to you for all of that smiting at the hands of the infidel. And then once you're sort of back in the saddle again, he's going to insist on you build him an house. Can't have God pantsing around the countryside with no house. What kind of nomad bullshit is this? We moved out of that clear on back in Exodus days. We genocided an entire country clean so that we could build him an house. Amateur hour. All right. Let me take a quick gander at what we're dealing with here. Chapter 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Not going to do another 5 chapters. We've just crossed the hour mark on this stream. So that means we've got 2 more streams left in the Old Testament. The rest is Zechariah and a nice little short one for Malachi. I am giving serious thought to doing at least one of those streams tomorrow. I haven't made up my mind. We will see. Okay, so that was about the most uneventful stream we've had in a while. I got my hopes all up last time with the nudity, the fancy hat, the googly-eyed rock with writing on, the messenger trees, all that. Here, Zechariah just can't quite figure out. It's like he got the beginning and he got the end. He just don't know how to get there from there. And he's just kind of making shit up in the middle. And not well. Some people are blessed with the gift of improv. Some people are not. Zechariah is one of the latter. Like even a blind even a blind pig finds an acorn once in a while. All right, we had the great comedic chapter back in 3 with the googly-eyed rocks and the nakedness and the fancy hats, all that shit. Hey, Ox. Man, yeah, you missed the single solitary smite. It's all right. It is all right. You didn't really. Zechariah is not my favorite book. And I guess in this last chapter we did find out why it was left in. The king is coming on a donkey and a colt, the foal of a donkey. Well, we need that for the Palm Sunday story, so we had to leave in all the rest of this crap as well. Having said that, you couldn't have just excised that chapter. Hey, it's Amiga Nuts. I did not see you come in, my friend. I'm sorry. I've not been good with the chat today. You could have just excised that one chapter and left it. You didn't have to leave all the rest of this crap in. The entire Old Testament is full of books that include phrases like, for the details, see this entire ass other book. We just needed to reference this one moment. You could have done that. It was particularly bad back in Judges and I think First Kings, where there was a whole bunch of nonsense about, you know, there would be a crummy little battle, a border skirmish, and then there'd be like, I mean, an all but literal asterisk. There'd be a sentence saying, you know, and for the other details of the reign of King Who's-He the What's-It, how many Philistines he slew, and his exploits with his many wives, including the ludicrous tale of the dancing monkey in the house of the priest of Gesundheit. Are they not written in the book of the conquests of the kings who liked monkey business? You could have done that here. Dirty rodent. You could have done that here. But no, had to leave this whole thing in with the vanishing red horses and the complete lack of interest in both East and West, and the angels in trees, and the eyes on rocks, and the fancy hat insistence on the naked priest, and every other damn thing. You just left it all in because reasons. Really coming to understand why we don't spend a lot of time on the minor prophets in Sunday school and church and time, because some of these prophets are minor AF. So I don't make a lot of guarantees here on this channel, but we're going to do at least 3 more streams between now and Christmas, because it would be aggressively weird for me personally not to at least address the first birth narrative in Matthew at some time during Advent. So we got to polish off Zechariah, we got to tackle Malachi, and then we got to get into Matthew. So at some point during the 4 weeks of Advent, which starts tomorrow, light your chunky purple candles, ye who are so inclined. Yeah, I wish that was a comic, nerdy. It's actually it's wooden. It's a plaque. If we'll figure out a way. I'll probably figure it out about 90 minutes before I start streaming any given day, just like exactly happened today. So I don't know. Notifications on? Little YouTubey thing. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for coming. I hadn't seen some of y'all in a hot minute. Lovely to see you as ever, everybody. Thank y'all so much for sticking with me through this whole mess. We are not out of the woods yet, but we're almost done with the Old Testament. It's only taken us 3 years. Some of y'all that I see in the chat live at this moment have been with me since damn near the very beginning. Julie, of course, has been with me since the beginning. Helped me convince myself that this would be a good idea to even essay to begin with. All right. Well, friends and neighbors, colts and foals and donkeys, we are going to roll out of here because I've been blathering on for like 10 fucking minutes saying nothing. Thank you all for coming. Everybody, take care and be safe. And stand against hate. Yeah, not much smiting, just a pout. The shortest pout in the history of hissy fits. Be safe out there, y'all. Where's my mouse and my button? Mute.
So